this link. Appreciate it. Okay. Alright, I have the chat as mega zoomed in because I have no choice. I'm going the wrong way. Where the heck is my comments? There we go, there we go. What's up, Third? I forgot to set up the YouTube chat to show on stream, but I guess I don't have a scene for it here anyway. You said you stopped doing this? Stop doing what? Reading comments? No. I would stop obsessing about reading comments on the Apex video. That's what I said I'd stop doing, and I haven't. I haven't read that cesspool of comments in quite a long time. Hello, everyone. All of the messages are flying in now. Third made it to his stream. Insane. YouTube light mode. I don't have a choice. The studio is forced into light mode. Okay, let me not check the settings while I'm on stream. But I don't think you can tune it to dark mode in the the analytics platform. Already 50? That's crazy. Let me get hit with a quick little bannerino. I can only put him in timeout. I cannot ban him. That's crazy. Wait, did I ban the wrong person? Dude, this platform is so good. I can't remove it. Alright, see you in a few minutes, Third, because the YouTube chat scrolls and I banned the wrong person. Holy crap. Why can't I right click names? I have to go all the way. Whatever. Whatever. Anyway. The comments on the Mouse Accel video so far have been very wholesome, very fun to read, because I think it's still not being pushed by the algorithm like at all. I think that we're still at the point where almost everyone is a subscriber. First of all, I just got this comment a minute ago saying I wasn't expecting to see my 5-year-old comment in a video. And it is him. It is him. Let's see. Where did I put it? Right here. It's him. 5 years when he says acceleration is the bane of his aim. That's crazy. How did he get here is the question. I wonder if someone told him or if he's a sub to the channel. He doesn't have public subscriber here, but who knows. Spectre's Edge is fun. Just wish there were more people on. Tomorrow, I'm going to do a Sector's Edge stream on YouTube, and I will... Right? It's not my fault, Mushi. I accidentally timed it the wrong person, too. But nonetheless, I will do a Sector's Edge stream tomorrow, and we will play it together, because it is a lot of fun, and it's the most fun. Well, I kind of like it when it's like 6 to 8 people per team, but the more the merrier, you know? Attorneys tomorrow? Ah, shoot. I'll generate hype for the game. I don't know. How do you get a Sector's Edge key? I will drop Versidium's. I am on the wrong layout. Versidium's tag. This is Discord tag. If you want a key to play Sector's Edge, which is the Minecraft FPS, you can just DM him, ask for a key, and he'll give you one. He's in Australia, so when he wakes up, I'll give you a key. But anyway, in reference to the comments here, there are 2 comments that I really want to have a discussion on, because I think they're actually really interesting. 2 comments. The rest of them are just feel good. We'll go through them, say like, oh, thank you, stuff like that. Okay, so there's so many questions asking about Sector's Edge. It's in the description. I put it in the description, what the game is and how to get a key. And there's so many comments. You got someone, are you here, Matt Buck? Are you here? Minecraft. It's just an easy way to refer to it. Second most common archetype of comment is, I did not realize I had mouse acceleration. There he is, the man himself, on the YouTube stream. I will not give credit to you, Word. You've done nothing. I definitely would have done this anyway. But yeah, this is the second most common archetype of comment. People saying, never realized I had mouse accel on this whole time. Windows mouse accel is on by default, etc., etc. And you know, that's that. It's a darn shame. And it's true that if you have raw input on, it's not an issue. However, it might not be on. And if it's not, then you probably have some problems. Someone is asking about a stepped curve. This is actually a good question, because the idea is that you have a mouse accel curve, which is one sense, and then all of a sudden it goes to another sense. So as soon as you move your mouse at a certain speed, it will shoot up to that sensitivity, which in theory is like, okay, so you have this normal sense all the time, and if you need to turn around or go for like a mega quick flick, then you can switch to the other sense. Kind of like if you had a DPI button, except without having to press anything. And the problem is that when you have to do close range fast tracking, you're moving your mouse pretty fast to keep up with your target. And I feel like you're going to hit that threshold by accident pretty often. So unfortunately, I think it's pretty much unusable. That being said, I do want to make mention that if you're using acceleration, you want to have a speed cap. Speed cap just being, I think it's called sensitivity cap. Just because it's a drink from the mega bottle request. I'll do it later. And the reason you want to do that is so you have a consistent sensitivity at your maximum flicking speed. So you want to find the maximum speed you typically flick at, and then you add your speed cap there. Are there any significant differences between Kovaak's and Aim Labs that either make either better or worse? So the obvious thing is that Aim Labs has better UI, and that's evident right away, unfortunately. However, I do think Kovaak's is the clear winner in terms of scenarios, in terms of the quality of the training regimen that you can have, and that's far more important to me, and I think it should be more important to you. However, Aim Labs is free, so if you want to give it a try, go for it. So yeah, here's another one. Accidentally have mouse accel on. In other words, you turn your mouse into a joystick. People say that mouse accel existed because of joysticks. I don't really understand. I get that there's kind of an acceleration the further you move the stick in, but it's not really the same because you're actually moving an object in space as opposed to just like causing the camera to turn. So what do you set your in-game sense to? Surely this could affect games differently due to FOV changes and such. Well, first of all, I would say that sensitivity is not really, like the muscle memory aspect of aiming is not that important when it comes to switching between games. Someone who is good at aiming will still be good at aiming when they go to a new game, regardless if they're using a different FOV or a slightly different sensitivity. These small changes aren't going to be a big deal in the grand scheme of things. If I'm thinking of the right person, he's actually friends with a couple of my teammates. I might actually know who that Vin guy is. Really? That's funny. That's funny. How can I reply to this dude? I have it set to 1 in game in Apex. I don't think that minor FOV or sense changes make that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. There you go. There's my reply. Here's the developer in chat, public subscriber, responding to the comments about the game. Hey, what's you? It's me. FOV doesn't affect sense. It affects the feeling of sensitivity. So when you have like an FOV bind to make your FOV zoom in and give you effectively like what a scope would do, you have your sensitivity lower relative to that. In the same way that when you zoom in with an optic in Apex Legends, to get the same feeling of sensitivity, you actually have a lower inches per 360. Sorry, higher inches per 360, because the sensitivity gets feeling. Yes, literally no. Yes, that's true. So with this mouse acceleration, we use This is pretty much the entire video. Glad I could help. Sure. Send the auto comment. Thank you, YouTube. I gotta uncapitalize the G though to stay in character. Perfect. I had to get yelled at to start watching. Was it worth it? I don't know. You tell me. Why are you getting yelled at? By who? What's up? I'm good. Aim Labs has some good stuff for flicking and enhancing your precision and speed, but Kovaak has more specific things. And I think it also has the basic stuff too. So it's got all of that and more in terms of scenarios. Your Asian parents? What are you talking about? They're telling you to watch live streams? My parents didn't even know what live streams were until I told them. Look at all these Windows Excel apologists. Well, not apologists, but accidental users. I really love this comment. Someone who got into the music that I put here. Yes, it's great. Good man. Is that Charlie Sheen in the year 2020? Someone says muscle memory lol, which kind of is similar to the comments that we're going to get into in a moment. This is YouTube Studio, so this is like the creator side of YouTube. And I agree that muscle memory, it's not a meme, it exists, right? However, it's not the be-all end-all when it comes to aim. So he doesn't even extrapolate on what he means, but I think his sentiment is the fact that I harp on muscle memory a lot and how it gets slightly changed when you switch to accel, and that it's a complete meme. But it's not a meme, it exists, just it's not the only factor. How terrible would mouse acceleration be in OS? So funnily enough, I hate to expose myself here, but that play on OS, first of all, the map, I believe, is Pishy Fat on the Wing by Owl City. It's the map. It's like 8 stars. Just a jump spam map. It's fun. But I actually played it with tablet. Even though I mentioned it in the section with mouse accel, I played with tablet. I don't think mouse accel is very good at all for OS. It just doesn't really make sense when you're kind of confined to exactly the speed that the game wants you to move at. The slower sensitivity, it does have some element of extra precision, but you can't really control it the same way that you would in FPS. Hey, that's my comment. Hey, what's up? Scammed? Slightly scammed. I'm sorry. I always wanted you to know about your opinion on TF2's gunplay, and it's good for other FPS games. Which TF2? Which TF2? Titanfall or Team Fortress? This guy's asking about OS. I got so many questions on my Kovaak's video about what OS is. I'm surprised that people haven't heard of it, kind of. Using Pova hats for OS and it feels so good. Hey, man. If you enjoy it, go for it. I don't think it makes sense to me, but, you know, to each their own. Team Fortress? I completely thought you were going to say Titanfall. I think TF2 is an excellent aim trainer if played correctly. Right? There's so many ways you can play TF2. You can be an idiot, heavy, friendly in a pub giving out sandwiches all the time, and you're obviously not going to get better with your aiming mechanics. You could be an MGE lord, and you'll develop a lot of aiming and movement mechanics that will translate to any game, but you may be lacking on like the macro play. And then of course there's DM and there's jump maps that can help out other aspects of your play. So yes, it can be a fantastic tool for learning some fundamentals of aim. And I'd say that TF2 players who are very, very good at the game translated pretty well into other games, except not really CS. Maybe the sniper players were decent at it, but even then it's got a very different style of aim compared to CS, where CS is a lot more patient and controlled. TF2, there is an element of that, of course, with the sniper, but you do have to go for a lot more reading opponent's movement, or not really reading, but following opponent's movement with sniper and stuff like that. I believe that equal. Actually, YZ50 only played for Alien Bones. God. Equal, okay, here's a great example. Equal in chat here. His schedule when he was really grinding TF2. All right, he told me this on stream. Wake up. Go onto Australian DM servers, because those are the people who are playing at the time. DM being deathmatching, which is just like aim training. When the EU people wake up, go on those. And then when they go to sleep, go on the American DM servers. And then he sleeps. Repeat. That was his schedule. What an absolute madman. DM all freaking day for like 8 hours a day. Just so he can get to the level of like being stupidly good at winning 1v1s and such. Absolute gamer lord. And the reason I bring this up is because he got Kovaaks. He's got like 50 scrims between EU and ATM. That's funny. He got Kovaaks. He's got like 50 hours, and he's absolutely demolishing my scores. He's like top 20 on Kata IC Long Stripes Thin. And he's like top 70 on Kata IC Long Stripes Invincible. He's so good at tracking. It makes me sad because I want to beat him and I can't. I should have played more DM. Lots of mechanics need polish. Apex is more polished overall, plus Apex is a future. What are you saying? You can farm Titans in seconds, they don't feel precious. They disable M-wheel B-hopping and there's a bunch of other clutter minion shit. Wait, what are you... Honestly, doesn't like Titanfall, I see. I haven't played it myself, but the gripe with the asymmetry with Titans and pilots, I'm also not a huge fan of. I don't love that aspect of that kind of movement shooter. However, I don't know. I haven't played it, so I really can't give an actual opinion. Engineers, shut up. Shut up. I used Mouse Excel on Windows and Mac machines for a while, and then switched to not having it because of peer pressure. I found I performed the same both ways after some practice. Huh. Interesting. Forever just okay at TF2. I actually remember this dude. He... We had this like YouTube comment bracket when I was giving out the Kovaak's keys, where on stream we would vote on which comments we liked the most and wanted to get keys. And this guy made it to the semifinals because I kind of worked for him, because this video, he's actually quite good at Apex Legends, and I showed the video on stream. It created a controversy because people were like, "Why didn't you show everyone else's videos?" And like that's unfair treatment of all the commenters because it's not just his comment. So annoying, but. I do remember this guy because he mentioned that he was a TF2 player. Immediately piqued my interest, and then I saw he was good at Apex. I'm like, okay, this is the kind of thing where aim training can help you refine to get to that next level. But I actually do not know what he means, if he's talking about himself or me, because I'm just okay. That's very fair. I have 200 hours and I switched to Kovaak. I actually really hate it in the top aimer community. If you want a free aim trainer, Kovaak has tons of scenarios and guides. Kovacs and AimGod are the best for aim training. Oh, I see. You're talking about aim labs with a free one. Surely, right? But what do you mean you actually really hate it in the top aim community? It's talking about like Sparky aim, Yuki aim, they're like very elitist or something? Titanfall should make an FPS without Titans. I don't necessarily think they're a bad thing. I actually don't know at all. What's the hardest volley trick you can do? Probably a helix. I'm not even that consistent. It's really hated by Sparky / Oh, I see. Yeah, I see. You're saying that aim labs is hated by the top aim training community. That makes sense. I remember that. And it was kind of irrelevant. The only really niche it had as a aim trainer was like it's free, and that's the best thing that it is. And now that they're getting sponsors, people like Asu and other CS players, or sorry, Valorant players, it's getting some recognition. Play to win versus pay to win? What do you mean? What's up, Labry? Okay. One game I've always shit at is Overwatch. Something about the way the enemy characters' models move really throws me off every time. I've heard that Overwatch actually has a really short like turnaround speed. Like you can change directions really, really quickly compared to even games like Quake. That did surprise me. And like watching the gameplay, it does make sense because they do like instantly change direction on a dime in terms of getting back to full velocity. But I still don't think the game is aim intensive enough to really be that interesting. Okay. Thank you for the comment. This is the first comment that I was really intrigued by. Okay. This one is by a dude named Titanos. I used to use acceleration for a long ass time. Nowadays, I just do aim coaching on a suggested flat sensitivity. I'll basically say this. It can probably let you do the precision of small adjustments and fast flicks of a higher sense, but you must sacrifice your current muscle memory completely, and if your playstyle is intensely mechanically heavy, your off days would be way worse than ever. Basically, you hit more insane shots, but whiff a whole lot more as well. And a lot of the CS players who play on accel are more positional heavy rather than mechanically heavy. Okay, so firstly, the thing that interested me was that he said he was an aim coach, right? That gives him a little bit of credibility that he knows what he's talking about. His profile picture put me off at first, to be honest, because looks like it's drawn by a 2-year-old. No offense. However, I did check out some of his videos in order to determine if has any credibility. Let's see, right here. We're in scene here. He's pretty good at the game. He's pretty good at aiming, and his raw aim is quite good, right? I think we can agree on that, especially like these little headshot flicks. And of course, It's a frag video, right? It's a frag video, so these ridiculous shots, he's going to put them in and then highlight them. That being said, it does give him a bit of credibility because he's definitely put in the effort to get good at precision aiming. So my first gripe. Number 1, a lot of the best CS players who play on accel are more positionally heavy rather than mechanically heavy. So I have 2 counterexamples. Number 1, Nitro, played for Team Liquid. Number 2, Swag Braxton, right? Everyone knows Swag. He's got a lot of notoriety for the guy who was banned from iBuyPower at a really young age, and he was like the future of CS because he was so young and so good at the time. To say that neither, okay, I'm pretty sure at some point Nitro was considered the best rifler in NA. Sometime when I watched CS, I think that was the consensus, or one of the people who had the best aim. So I don't know if this is true or not. And I don't know when Nitro stopped using accel, because he did stop using it at some point. However, Swag used it for a very long time. I don't think he uses it in Valorant, but he definitely used it for a long time. And to say that he is not mechanically heavy, I don't think is fair. I don't think is fair. There are such a small portion of CS players who play on accel at the top level. He wants it in Valorant. Interesting. I can't even name that many. I know I wrote down Kerrigan, but he definitely doesn't use it anymore. And a large contingent of the top players. I know Taco, or I think Taco used it at some point. I saw a tweet from him before I started streaming saying that he used mouse accel and enhanced pointer precision. So the second one makes me think he might have been being ironic. But I did see some people mention that Taco used it. Used mouse accel for 8 years, have it disabled for 6. I did great with both. Exactly. I think that this idea that you must sacrifice your current muscle memory completely is faulty. And like I said, I turned off mouse accel during the project at some point because I wanted to test. Do I still have this muscle memory that allows me to play at a high level, that allows me to do these really quick flicks and actually do well? And the answer is yes. Yes, I can still play well. And of course, some of my flicks were undershooting because I only used it for 2 days. But to say that you must sacrifice it completely is just not true. It's just not true. Of course, there is some things that are lost in translation. As you get used to the curve, you're going to have to relearn how like turning is done because it's a very different feeling. Your 180s are going to feel a lot different. But that's true with almost any change in sensitivity. And of course, this is a completely different translation. It's not just higher and lower. It's like a derivative, right? It's an extra level of movement. So I don't know. I will say that, will you be more consistent on a flat sensitivity? For a while, yes. I think your off days would be worse than ever. It's probably fair. I do feel like my off days have been pretty rough, but I don't know if that's like a confirmation bias sort of thing because, like in retrospect, I always think of my skill as like my above average skill. Like this is how well I can perform when I'm doing well, and then my average to below average when I actually perform at that level feels terrible, right? Even though it's just like a bit below average or something. But that being said, if you use it for several years, would this still be true? Would you still be more consistent with a flat sensitivity if you've used a certain, like, or you've been used to accel for that many years? I don't think so. I think you could get used to it. And quick players are a great example of that. People who use like pretty intense accel and played insanely well. I have to disagree with the muscle memory part, as I could change several times per day depending on the game. I also don't think this person used Kovaak, but some other type of accel, which is harder to get used to. I agree. He seems definitely like a CS to CS 1.6 player. I'm pretty sure he mentions he's a 1.6 player, and I don't think Kovaak's accel existed in that time. So I believe that he probably used in-game CS accel. And was not paying enough attention in the video since he mentioned CS players, almost none of which use Kovaak. Right. That being said, he's a good aimer. I don't think that his comment is completely off point, And he presented it in a way that is very much like, this is my experience, and this is my, just pretty much this is my experience, right? Take it or leave it. I respect that, the way he presented it. So thank you for the comment, Titan Notes. If you ever see this, you're cracked. You're really good. Nick Stambull, haha, you are the funny mouse man. Heck you. You're the worst. So we have a comment from Quick City in here. This can work so good with ADS aiming. You can have one-to-one sense for your ADS with your hipfire and not ruin fine-tune aiming. This idea of having one-to-one sense with your ADS and your hipfire is actually faulty, because this is what I believed for a while as well, where I matched my inches per 360 with 2 different FOVs. That's what I did. That's what I did with aiming down sights with a 1x and hipfire, was the same inches per 360, and that's just not a good idea, right? Because the feeling of 2 different sensitivities, or sorry, feeling of sensitivity is different based on your FOV, like we mentioned earlier. And when your FOV gets smaller, your sensitivity will feel faster. And in order to maintain the same feeling, you need to lower it. And that's why 1.0 in Apex Legends lowers your sensitivity. And it's related to a concept called monitor distance matching, which I won't go too much into. But 1.0 is 0% monitor distance matching, and that's what I use now. So I don't think this is a good idea. And it's especially evident when you try to do the same thing with really high zoom optics. Like when you do sensitivity matching with the 6x, you just can't control it at all. It goes all over the place. So I don't know what he means with ADS aiming relating to mouse acceleration either. I don't really understand that, but such a good thing, but I'm a sucker for sticking with old stuff. That's completely fine. I can learn this, but I'm soon going to be going away from my PC anyway, so learning something at the moment is not the best. I will miss you, Quixidian. If you want to have the same feel for every single zoom level, use this formula. Ooh, that's cool. Tangents. I would love to know how that formula was derived. Why is 1.0 sense not actually the same sense? You would have to look into a concept known as monitor distance matching, because it's something that I honestly don't fully understand. Okay, a Math Rock fan. We like to see it. Someone's asking me to try Hisense, and I actually do like this idea of using a sensitivity purely for practicing a specific muscle group in aiming. Like low sense was really good for getting my arm involved with aiming, which was not something that happened for the first like 2 to 4 years of playing FPSs, that often at least. And high sense is the opposite, where you can really train your fine grain fingertip aiming and like wrist aiming, right? I thought about it. Maybe. I don't want to do it right now because I don't want my gameplay to suffer to that degree. Is this a bot? Maybe. I'm just gonna ignore it. There's one more comment that really interests me. How long have I been going for? It feels like I've been half an hour having it started. Okay, here it is. 9 upvotes. Damn. This is the benefit of jargon. I'll say that much. When you sound like you know what you're talking about, people will upvote you. Anyway, I need a drink because this is a long one. This is a long comment. Okay, I hope you guys are ready. This is a comment from the Noob Police. Thanks for raising awareness of the good kind of mouse accel. However, I feel I need to correct a few of your assumptions that you seemingly present as fact in the aim of increasing your understanding. All right, I don't love the way he words this because it's didactic but also a little bit condescending. But that's okay. Aiming in a video game, at least anything on screen, is not muscle memory. This is a complete gamer myth and is easily understood by anyone with even a modicum of understanding of human biomechanics. Holy shit. I love this. Gamer myth and easily understood by anyone with even a modicum of understanding. of human biomechanics. Holy shit. I will say that the rest of the comment is actually not that bad, but this sentence, I love it. This is a copy pasta and a half. I will use this phrase, easily understood by anyone with a modicum of something, many times in the next month. It's really good. So that's like condescending cranked up to 100. Unlike playing a musical instrument, for example, which one learns by tactile feel, camera movement in a video game when aiming on screen is simply hand-eye coordination. This can be easily also tested by having a stationary enemy bot placed somewhere on your screen at your usual sensitivity, and then trying by feel only with your eyes closed to instantly snap to his head. Okay. Where are my scenes? We're gonna give it a go. We're gonna give it a go. See what he's on about. Is it possible? Here it is. I've been disconnected due to inactivity. It's a gamer myth, boys. I love that phrase too. Gamer myth. Oh man. It's good. It's good. So before we get into this, I would say that obviously it's not the most consistent thing in the world, right? It's not gonna be every single time you can do this, but I would say on average, like, put my crosshair here. Eyes closed. All right, it's possible. It's possible. Instantly snap to the head of your target based off of feel alone. And I did that like, I don't know, 100 times. I would say you hit it about like 80. Did my chat freeze? Are people talking? But nonetheless, it's possible, right? That's the point I'm making here. Okay, that was sick. Please. Back to the gamer myth. It's possible, and you can do it, especially because I changed my set. Like, first of all, I'm sorry to say this, I didn't want to bring it up, but Roard, that graph is actually wrong because I changed it. I changed it a day ago. 1 day, and you can already do that, right? So anyway, we've just tested this, but I believe he's actually saying that you need the visual cue first, because I saw the bot, then closed my eyes, then did the flick, right? But he's saying that you need that visual reference in order to have that relative aim, right? You can't, because it's not muscle memory. You need eyesight to constantly interpolate the images as the game world turns, and for your brain to make subconscious micro adjustments. Shouldn't this be interpret? Whatever. Maybe I'm misunderstanding that word. Compare this to a well-trained piano player, for example, who can easily recite a difficult piece consistently once learned without any input from eyesight at all, because that is muscle memory. All right. Let's tackle this claim. So he's saying, to boil it down, muscle memory and hand-eye coordination are mutually exclusive. If there is hand-eye coordination involved, it is not muscle memory. So that's to say, tennis involves no muscle memory, none at all. Golf involves no muscle memory, because you need to see where the ball is. Soccer, no muscle memory. The list goes on. Archery, a game about aim, where it's all about like the technique of your aiming and release. It's nothing of it is muscle memory. What is this guy saying? What is wrong with you, dude? Come on. What? Never mind. He's saying that all of these skills that obviously involve a lot of refined technique and practice and getting these things down to where you don't have to think about the way that you follow through with a golf club, for example. It is not muscle memory because you have to use your eyes as a visual cue. I do not believe that is true at all. I do not believe that hand-eye coordination invalidates the idea of muscle memory. Piano just happens to be something that does not need visual cues to actually perform. That being said, the fact that I can do that flick with my eyes closed means that it's not visual. I mean, there is an element of visual memory, but it's because I know with my muscle memory how far I need to flick to the head that I'm able to do that. Muscle memory is a faulty term. Like, obviously muscles don't have literal memory, but the term itself means like you've practiced a certain technique so much that it becomes second nature, right? And I think this whole section is just completely faulty. To say that, I mean, I've already gone over the whole song and dance, to be honest. We don't need to completely just reiterate the same thing. I just completely disagree with this assertion that hand-eye coordination invalidates the idea that muscle memory exists. Like, to say that something like archery involves no muscle memory is just stupid, right? Because you need to see where the target is to aim your shot, but all of the other things going on as you're knocking the arrow, your release is like completely perfect, and then you let the bow hang, or however they do it in like Olympic archery. Or even like the style that like Lard Anderson does, where he has to practice over and over again until you can fire these arrows really, really quickly without even thinking about it. He still needs to look at where he's aiming. So he's going to continue on this point a little bit. What is muscle memory in gaming, however, is off-screen aiming. This is your body learns as a predefined flick by feel on the mouse pad. I would say that most flicks are by feel. I feel like this guy, he is in love with learning, right? Which I respect a great deal. And he has convinced himself of all of these points, and he believes that he's doing us he's teaching us these things that he's learned without actually like putting in the effort to get really good at FPSs, right? It's the difference between someone who is like a brain surgeon and someone who has gone through like years of medical school. They have the know-how, they know what's supposed to happen. However, like the hands-on practice is what really matters here. And I feel like, yes, you do need visual reference to do these flicks, but almost all of them on screen, at least for hard aim, is done by feel. Nonetheless, he goes on to say that this applies only to 180-degree turns in most video games, but has nothing to do with your accuracy. When one talks about maintaining muscle memory, the relevance to good form of mouse accel is the sensitivity cap that both InterAccel and Custom Curve 2.0 allow to do, but all other bad forms of accel do not. This is the important distinction. That's fair. I think there are a lot of other important distinctions, like the fact that you can customize it at all, and stuff like offset and power, right? But nonetheless, I agree that the cap is a hugely useful feature. Good accel is based not only on a linear curve, you can use any curve style, concave, convex, or parabolic. Who's using parabolic mouse accel? We have like the 0 point in the whatever. When limited to an exponent like Kovaak's InterAccel are freely designed in like Custom Curve 2.0, the important thing is the sensitivity cap. This maintains the muscle memory for 180 turns only. This is why Windows Enhanced Pointer Precision or most in-game accel is bad, besides Quake, because they do not allow the user to define a point where the sensitivity would not continue to increase, which is essential for off-screen flicks. Besides the fact that in-game accel options are nearly tied to frame rate, or nearly always tied to frame, which is another issue good forms of accel don't suffer from. True. Almost every version of Source game mouse accel is tied to frame rate. Parabolic is just a square. Okay, that's fair. I assumed it had to have both sides of the parabola to qualify as parabolic, but you're right. But yes, CS accel, I assume TF2 accel, and probably Apex as well. They all run on the Source idea of mouse accel, and all of these are affected by frame rate. So in a game like CS or TF2, you can get away with it because those games are old and fairly well optimized to the point where your frame rate's not going to be dipping that much, right? But in a game like Apex, stay away from that. Off-screen flicks are also quite uncommon. Like, there are few and far between moments when you are... I mean, I guess 180s do happen. Never mind, it's not that bad. The reason why accel works so well for on-screen aiming in the first place, by the way, is just because aiming on screen isn't muscle memory in the first place either. Right, he's already mentioned this. This is what we talked about earlier. This is also easily demonstrated once one forms an understanding of rectilinear perspective projection on how a 3D world is portrayed onto a 2D screen. So that term rectilinear projection is exactly as he says. The fact that our 3D game, like Apex, is on a 2D plane, right? That's all it is. The reality is that even when not using accel, there's a different sensitivity at the edge of the screen to the center of the screen, and that this sensitivity also slows on the horizontal axis as you deviate towards the poles, i.e. look up and down, but stays consistent on the vertical axis. Even when not using accel, your brain constantly has to interpolate the images as they move across the screen at continually changing speeds, even though the mouse moves at a steady rate. Yes, even when not using accel. But a few million years of evolution being able to hit the moving thing mean that this requires zero conscious cognitive input. It is not something players need to be concerned with. So he wrote a whole paragraph on something players don't need to be concerned with. So very, very controversial that he asserts that evolution is not just a theory. Just kidding. I honestly don't fully understand what he means, but there's a different sensitivity at the edge compared to the center. I believe he's referring to the fact that if you want to flick to the edge of your screen, the distance is kind of variable, but the center of your screen will always be the center of your screen in my head, because you're moving the camera, not a cursor. It is... I don't know. I don't know if this is worded strangely or if it's a concept, because I've actually heard of this theory or this idea before. Maybe it's something to do with like monitor distance matching, where like the FOV you match to is based on a certain part of the screen, and like the edge of the screen will be a certain... I don't know. I know what he means. Can you explain in a more layman matter? I don't like YouTube's email. They're very bad. I can't be asked to explain it. He understands how it works, but not what it implies. Okay. But nonetheless, the main thing that I want to take away from this is that it requires zero cognitive input and is not something players need to be concerned with. Which is true, right? We can already do all of these on-screen flicks without thinking about the fact that the sensitivity changes slightly at the edge of the screen, and the fact that we don't even notice it, nor does... I would say that like 0.01% of FPS player know of this phenomenon, even though it affects everyone, right? So it's something that, like he says, is so deeply ingrained into our ape brains that it's pretty much irrelevant. Gonna go back to explaining why expensive things are expensive. This is too much for me. I don't think this dude means anything bad with his comment, right? I believe he wrote this in good faith, truly believing in the things that he's purporting here. However, first of all, this is a complete gamer myth and is easily understood by anyone with even a modicum of understanding of human biomechanics. It's a little condescending, dude. You're implying that none of us have even a modicum of understanding of human biomechanics. kind of rude, to be honest. The difference in angle at the screen is different than the center. This is very dependent on FOV. Right. Okay, yeah, I see what you mean. The way that the 3D image is projected, the angle that you're seeing the edge versus the center is not the same, and therefore the sensitivity will not be like 1-to-1 on the mouse pad, right, or something like that. I just don't think it really matters on the in the grand scheme of things. Thank you, Lauber and Callie. Hit him with the twofer. But that's just a myth, a gamer myth. That's really good. So this is actually where I stole the thumbnail from. I think I actually agree with this dude, the guy who said you're so wrong. So he has a goalkeeper catching a soccer ball, playing with your eyes closed. You don't need eyes to do it in the first place. Doesn't mean that it's the perfect example of muscle memory. This is what Aimer7 is talking about. What do you mean? Who? Oh shit! Oof, this is a rough one. Javier Rivera hit him with the... Didn't realize you were a professional aimer. I think the term gets thrown around a lot. The term muscle memory. And it's kind of lost some of its meaning as a result. At the end of the day, it's all about refinement of your aiming technique, I believe. And to some extent, like being able to understand the distance that you need to get from point A to point B is a result of all of that training in your technique, right? This Aimer7, I can't believe they both name dropped him like this and didn't even present an argument. What is this? What is the appeal to authority? Is that what it is? This is what Aimer7 is always talking about, dude. Oh, am I offline? My chat is broken again. I'm very sad. Let me get my chat. Heck, I'm dumb. You leaked Twitch title? It's not updated yet. Or is Aimer7 the guru for aim now? Did he train by carrying a mouse through the jungle on a massive trip? He just has the most like well-worded theories on aim, and he's the one who thinks about it the most. Which, you know, I respect the fact that he thinks about it so much. But I do believe that most people just kind of follow his word as gospel because of how he presents it as opposed to the contents of what he says. This chat is pretty bad right now. I don't know what's going on here. Use 200 DPI. That is quite low. Surely at that low of DPI, you're losing some level of accuracy in the way that your sensor picks up movements, right? But anyway, I actually don't have Steam started up here. That's tragic. I need to get Steam open. I'm going to whip out Kovaaks. How long do I have still? It's been a while of just reading comments. I only got like 10 minutes. Oh boy. Hold on. Is anyone online in Apex? You want to just give a quick little 1v1? No one's online. YouTube can't handle her moderation speed. Oopsies. Sorry about that. When you play Sector's Edge today? Tomorrow. I'll play it on stream. Hold on, let me pause my playback on YouTube before it murders my frame rate. That was fun though. I enjoyed having these discussions. Is there any other comments? I think that's basically all of the comments that I wanted to tackle on stream. I don't think... I think those are the ones that were the most contrarian or interesting that combated the facts or opinion that I presented. I do love this comment. This is so nice. Your videos are gorgeous. As a whole. The way that I have, like... Never mind. Okay, when I told some people about the efforts that I go through to sync up music to, like, specific hits in the video, transitions, things like that, people are like, no one is ever gonna notice that. These are things that exclusively... are your own obsession as opposed to performing any relevant function, right? And I get the comment that my videos are very satisfying to watch a lot. I think that's partially because of the effort that I put into like doing all these little syncs, these little details that people don't actively notice, but adds to the enjoyment of watching in the grand scheme of things. I'm gonna hit a quick refresh and we'll leave a comment for talking in the course of this stream. Let's see. Higher DPI for smoother aiming, that is better for games where you need up and down. Low DPI for games where you don't need up and down. Huh. I would like to see like a proper quote from that. I would be surprised if that was the case. I think the general idea is to have your in-game sensitivity as low as possible while also reaching your desired inches per 360. So like in Source, for example, you would want to keep your sensitivity at about 1 and then adjust your DPI accordingly. So that pinned comment is quite good. Okay, a comment from Penguin who has generally bad opinions. I'm kidding. Depending on the mouse you use, mouse accel itself can vary. Say if you use a rat stick with weights upon the mouse, it is not the most consistent video to base a decision off upon. Yet if you do decide to give it a try, it's somewhat a decent video explaining mouse accel. It's somewhat a decent video. Hand-eye coordination will take a slight curve depending on how fast you can adapt. This also depends on previously used sense, adjusting it with programs alike, and if you know the exact amount of it being when mouse accel is activated. People who previously used a medium sense will probably gain an edge, which is obviously known and is a booster at the end. Overall, great video. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't understand what you mean by mouse accel itself can vary based on the mouse you use. I thought you were going to say some specs about like polling rate or like sensor accuracy, but you're talking about weight. That doesn't really have to do, like it's going to be the same experience changing a mouse and changing your sensitivity, right? It doesn't have anything to do with mouse accel on its own. It's not the most consistent video. What's inconsistent about it? Also, this is false. It's an aim trainer for OS, for 2D aim. You're subbed and you're spamming this in my chat, dude? Calm down, please. Please, Jackson. I'm big chest man. Pinglefi knew the SpaceX launch wouldn't happen, so that's why he refused to stream it. What are you talking about? That's pretty funny. Anyway, I'm gonna play like 5 minutes of Kovacs, I guess. Yeah, sure, we'll do that. Aim. Oh, I've got 2 face cams. Yeah. This is the wrong camera position, it seems. Heck it, we'll just leave it on the Apex scene and then change the game. Why do you have 2 cameras? One was for, it's supposed to be for the hand cam. Also, it is very dark. Alrighty. So, if you got any questions, now I can more actively read chat for the things you guys are saying. Oh my god. Bring back IP webcam? It makes my phone heat up like a bonfire. It's crazy. Force provided to the mouse results to the mouse times accel. It's a different kind of acceleration, though, is the thing. I mean, I kind of understand what you're saying. You're saying that in order to create an acceleration in a mouse, it's dependent on the weight, but also, like, in an actual practical scenario, that's not going to really make a difference. Like, come on. What did Jackson say? I'm leaving now. Goodbye. Goodbye. Please, if you were to come back again, do not speak in the chat with the way that you are now, because it is very obnoxious. Let's see. I'll just do the classic, very easy and brain dead scenario, so I can go into conversational flow here. It's just for a few minutes, to be honest. When I do go to Twitch, however, I will be playing Apex for a good while. Dude from space is asking about Valorant? Yeah, it's about Valorant. It's not my type of game, unfortunately. I can't find it. Cat IC. There it is. That Longstrap's invincible. I will be going to Twitch very shortly, yes. Hair and headset matches his chair. True. Unfortunately, this chair will be replaced by a different one sooner or later, because Kovaak, the guy who made the aim trainer, and his company, the Meta, offered me a gaming chair because they had a spare and wanted to thank me for the mouse accel video. Sorry, not the mouse accel video, the Kovacs video, right? I'm aiming really poorly. I'm glad I did that that blindfolded flick. Well, not really blindfolded, but just like no eyes open flick on the first try, or else it would have been kind of embarrassing. I need to go back in that stream I did the other day when I asked about mouse pads and see the one that one dude recommended me, who talked about fast mouse mats. God, that was awful. My hand was fully off the table. The one thing in your whole webcam that isn't black or white. What is Labber saying? Is it the orange thing? Is that on camera? No, it's not. How'd you find a full lobby in Sector's Edge? When I stream it, people will play. And if you ask in my Discord, there sometimes will be people who will be down to hop in. When it's stay on YouTube, there's just no real monetization options. And if I plan to ever make this a career, then we're going to have some issues. Try mouse accel because of your okay flick. I commented on the vid. I love it. PK flick. Gotcha. Dude, that shot is kind of crazy. The shot itself is very easy because he's going straight up. Like, it's a very predictable path. But what happened was that I didn't realize he would take the zip line because it's a freaking maniac decision to do. He doesn't have a cue. He's just gonna go straight up and try to escape while all three of us are waiting for him. Crazy. I thought he would try to like take 1v1s on the bottom. So I was looking down under the box to see if he would be there. I hear the zip line. I kind of guess where he would be by then and just go for the Hail Mary flick that's like probably like 100 degrees or so. And it happened so freaking fast. I don't usually go for those kinds of shots, especially with the PK because, well, right now I can't since the PK is in a crate, but they're unreliable, you know? But in that case, like if I didn't take the shot, the longer I waited, the less damage it would do. So, with the PK. Oh, 70. Nice. Waiting for Kovaak to buy this dude a new apartment. I mean, it's a chair, but that's about it, you know? I don't want to think about the amount of money that they've made off of that video. Oh, okay, first of all, Kovaak is a great dude. He is really nice. He loves FPSs, and he loves the FPS theory, and he loves arena shooters and its community, right? So, I am completely fine with supporting a guy like that. If it was developed by, like, EA, and they stole all of them, oh, I say stole, made all of that revenue from me, then I would be a little bit upset, right? But Kovaak is such a nice dude. When is the next episode of Gamer Mythbusters? My chair does suck. I have no armrest. I took the armrest off my chair. I don't like them. I think we should take second Newton law. If you move the mouse to the left, the mouse will go right because F is equal to F minus, meaning that, you know, equal and opposite force, meaning that we should just leave the mouse be and let it aim for itself because it'll be the same. What are you talking about? What am I listening to? It is a playlist on Spotify called Chill Jazz. About Fortnite. Fortnite for games that I enjoy. I have not played very much of it, to be perfectly honest. However, I also don't really want to. I feel like it's definitely gone down the route that Apex has in terms of catering to the casual audience. And there's a lot of annoying mechanics in that game. Building is not one. I think building is very cool. And I think I would enjoy creative a lot. But, like, Bloom is really... I mean, it's understandable, I suppose, but it is something I would not enjoy. And stuff like that. The hamster balls seem very, very unfun. Can you play on another stream Sector's Edge? Soon. Massive is a normie gun? I don't really love it. It doesn't feel that good to use. Don't all aim gurus just end up overthinking it? Most god tier DMers don't have entire theses like these. Funnily enough, so there is a guy in the OS community named Fours, OMG Fours, aka Philosophers. He was well known in his day as an Austrian player who was like one of the most consistent no-mod players of the time, with aim rivaling the people in the top 10, right? But he just didn't care about rank, nor did he care too much about being like stupid well-rounded, so he didn't really grind speed or hard rock that much. He's just a no-mod player, and he was really, really good at what he did, right? But no-mod is the most versatile playstyle to be good at. nonetheless, point being, we had a discussion sometime fairly recently about thinking about improvement, right? And he believes that overthinking improvement will actually hurt you in a game like OS that is so heavily mechanical, where the best thing you can do is just keep practicing with what you got. When you overthink things like him and I typically do, he did it to less of an extent than me, because I wrote up so many stupid nerd theses on Reddit about OS, right? But you end up making a lot of changes to your setup and your style that you think would be theoretically better. And a lot of times you'll spend time playing specific things that you believe are the best for your improvement, and they might be make you more well-rounded, but that mantra, of course there has to be an element. You have to know how to practice if you want to be good at a specific thing, right? Cookiesy didn't become a god on accident, and it's not just his genes. He knows how to practice, and he practiced hard. He played so much at first, right? And that's why he's so much better than everyone else, or he was at the time. But at the end of the day, it is just all about repetition and spending all that time thinking about like practice methods and the best way to go about it and things in your setup or your style or play style that could be different that would make you a better aimer. It can really hurt you, is what he believes. And I can definitely understand that. I mean, it's just evident that I'm not the best player in the world. There are people who thought about aim and improvement less than I did and still got better than me in a shorter period of time. And that could be because that they're less well-rounded, I should say, because that's what I tried to shoot for. But at the same time, I don't know. So many factors to consider when it comes to that sort of thing. He wasn't in even in your FOV. Thank you. What's that hit sound? This is the default hit sound now, actually. Why is your Kovaak's background different? First of all, thank you for the $2, dude. Oopsies. Why did I just go into the Steam menu? What the heck? You go to settings, visuals, and then here you can adjust all of your stuff. So I'll just leave it here for a moment. For those of you who don't know, I actually have a playlist on my channel called YouTube Streams, where I have all of my YouTube streams I've ever done in that playlist unlisted. So you can watch them whenever you want and, you know, look back for these kind of things. But here are all the settings that I have. Oh, wait, yeah. 32s across the board. It should be... What the heck? Does the sky color just change? Sky color. Heck yeah. Wait a minute. That's kind of clean. Ooh. I might play around with this a bit more. Get it even more solid. But later. Anything else? Enemy colors are here. This is irrelevant, I think. I'm still using mouse accel, yes. What about breaks between runs? Should I take breaks or no? I don't want to say that fatigue is good, but I think I did improve a lot mechanically when I really pushed for speed, when I did those long sessions of grinding like DT and stuff. But I do think breaks are important to avoid RSI. That is the in-game hit sound. Yeah, it's the default. My kill sound is custom, but the hit sound is the same. What's your thoughts on Doom Eternal being an aim trainer of sorts? It's not. Like, in the same way that CSGO is an aim trainer. You aim a lot. Like, if you played CSGO DM, you're aiming a lot. The movements of your enemies are pretty predictable, I suppose. So the raw aim, okay, sure. But it's just a game, I suppose. And the scenarios that they propose are fun, and they're fast, and they're interesting. So if you have more fun playing that than this, then, you know, by all means go for it. You're just not going to become a god aimer by playing, you know, 500 hours of Doom Eternal. Yes, you should buy a mousepad. Will you ever play with subscriber and viewers again? I play with them a lot. I don't know if I will this time. I might do duos with subs today. If you had round glasses, you would look like K-pop idol. Maybe I should try it. We'll see. Kovaak's gonna get a bionic neuron system for pinpoint accuracy and reaction time. Ooh. That actually reminds me of a conversation I wanted to have about prosthetics in like physical sports, but I'll have to say that for Twitch. Why use a dot instead of a crosshair? It's partially to simulate the Apex Legends red dot, but also because I am just used to it from playing. I had one on TF2. Can I have a shout out for no reason? No. I read your message. Does that count? I didn't learn the red armor jump by theorizing, but I learned it by trying over and over, being told mechanically what to do initially. Just practice, don't overthink it. I do think that the way you practice can definitely affect your improvement rate, though. Like, for something that's just one specific jump, yeah, of course. It's just going to be you practice it. But also understanding what you're doing wrong when you don't make the jump is important for uptaking the information and getting better at it, right? So in that aspect, there is an element of thought that goes into the improvement and the practice. Going to the depths that Aimer 7 does is probably a bit much. Like, I would assume that all of the aimers that are better than him and playing better than him don't think as much about aim. But I don't think anyone does. If the playlist is listed, the videos are unlisted. Most Apex crosshairs are circles or dots. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. What about the crosshair? Sure. I would not recommend using a dot crosshair per se. It's just what I'm used to. Pick whatever you're comfortable with. There's a decent amount of customization here. But here are my settings. Thank you for the $2 again. What everyone has a shape you like, all sensors are good now. Yeah, I would generally say that. Rocket Jump Ninja, whatever your opinion of him is, he's got good mouse reviews, right? He's a good gamer, and that matters a lot to me when it comes to mouse review credibility. Would recommend his reviews. But anyway, I've already been going for an hour and 10 minutes past what I wanted. Hold on, I just want to finish reading the chat. Steel Series, really good for the price range. Like the Steel Series Sensei, I think they're still kind of relevant, but they've kind of fallen behind the times compared to the really top end mice. Hey, what's up, Quick CD? We read your comment earlier. What's up? Do you think MC PvP has high mechanical skill required to play at high levels compared to other games? I don't want to bash Minecraft PvP, right? I've been recommended to play that game at least 1,000 times, maybe a few hundred, right? And it just looks so awful as a spectacle, a spectator sport. It looks skillless, even if it's not. And I really dislike that. The fact that when you're really good at it, it still does not look very impressive to me. Whether or not you need high mechanical skill, I can't tell you because I've never really played it. Is it overrated? I'd probably say so. Like, I can't say. No, that's not fair. I really have no experience, so I can't say if it's overrated or not. Should I get the D for better build quality or the O- because it's lighter and cheaper? Pick based on shape, dude. For sure based on shape. The build quality is good enough on both of them. One is ambidextrous, one is ergonomic. So that's way more important. What if you find if you practice so much on one sensitivity and then find out another one is more suitable, you would not have been wasting all that time practicing. Okay. I'll give you a quick demonstration. I'll do a Tile Frenzy, Jumbo. Fuck, it's got to be in a different order. Sorry. Jumbo, Tile. There we go. There it is. We're going to do a quick run. My scores are not that good. I picked the snare because it's short, though. Okay, so 148. Decent. All right, that's fine. All right, I'm going to change my sensitivity. 1.5. I'll give a quick calibration period. This is free play. I'm just calibrating. Okay, let's give it a challenge then. 150. Sensitivity does not matter that much, is basically the point here, right? If you are good with aiming with one sensitivity, you will be good with aiming with almost any sensitivity. 50% is a big deal. That is a large change in the way that the mouse feels, but it's much more about technique than like the raw muscle memory. So there you go. It's really not a big deal. I am going to switch to Twitch now. I don't want to go through reading chat for 10 years. Okay, what should I do to get to that multi-sense level? I think you're already at the multi-sense level. Like, it's not really something that needs to be learned. You'll get better over time, and then when you're comfortable with aiming, you'll be able to change your sense, and you'll be able to do that too. What about small adjustments that kind of throw you off? Yeah, there's a longer transitional period than I just showcased for more fine-grained movements, for sure. But it really doesn't take that long to get used to a new sensitivity, right? There you go. But I'm going to go to Twitch now. I'm going to play, hopefully, a lot of Apex Legends. Hopefully, my internet doesn't cut out again, and hopefully, I don't get tired of the game. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the conversation and the YouTube comment discussion. Of course, the Kovaaks. Twitch is how I hope to make my livelihood. So if you want to support what I do, I'd really appreciate if you stop by. And if you don't want to, thanks for watching anyway, and I'll see you next time. Later.